Radio on Berlin.
Hey, you out there. Yes, here we are in Berlin. It's Friday. Halloween has gone and people are going past. And Jade is here.
I am.
Once again. And we've just been in Modular. Fulfilling Jade's stationary obsessions.
Addictions.
Addictions, yes.
Probably, yes.
Stationary addictions.
It's addictions has got a bit of a negative connotation, hasn't it, really? But it's more of sort of like, some people do meditation and some people drink plenty of water to look after themselves. I buy notebooks.
And sharpen pencils.
And organise things in a very particular way.
But that could be the title of the show. It could be Stationary Addictions. No, Stationary...
But that makes me sound like I like standing still.
Yeah, it's got a double meaning, but it's probably not the best meaning. Because you're not renowned for standing still,
Maybe it's the show with no title.
Could be, Radio on no title. Radio on unknown.
Yeah.
But Jade...
hello.
When was the last time you were here in Berlin?
Yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Very good, okay.
Do you know what? I don't know. I really can't remember. It was before COVID, so...
What year is it now? 2030?
It's 2020, 2028, 2000, 3004...
Adds up to 6.
222.
222, yeah.
With a 0 in there
and
somewhere.
And it's Friday the 4th, just before, if we were in the UK, it'd be bonfire night.
Yep.
On the 5th, tomorrow. Big changes all around.
I think maybe it was 2019 that I was last here. It hasn't changed a bit, actually, apart from the airport, which is really
BER, the new Brandenburg Airport.
It's rude.
Terminal 1 and 2.
I like arriving at Berlin Airport and knowing where I'm going and feeling all like, smug.
Yeah.
With going, oh no, it's all right, we just go over here. I know where to go, don't worry, follow me. Everybody follow me. People, not just the people I'm travelling with, but other random people too. Follow me, it's all right, I'll show you where to go. And I was really confused. I thought I must have come to Tegel or something.
And that's gone.
And that's not even there.
Yeah, all the airports have gone.
I don't like change.
No. But you have gone through loads of changes, haven't you?
Changes.
Exactly. And Des, who was in the last show that when you were here.
That's right.
Now you're
verheiratet.
Exactly.
Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't mean
we're not going to tell
something
people.
bad, does it?
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't know. Good question.
Changed and stayed the same. I am Jade Blue.
And
he's Des.
Des Blue.
No,
you're not sharing.
He's Des
your
the
blueness.
original. No, he's him. I'm me. You're you.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And this table is really
we know
wobbly.
where we are. yeah, we're in Kreuzberg, of course.
We are we?
Taking coffee.
Are we in Kreuzberg or Kreuzköln?
We might be on the border of, but not so sure. But you got married in
the Hagen of Cope.
Yes. Why? Why not the UK?
Oh, well, because...
For your friends that are listening now,
okay.
And they were not invited.
that weren't invited, yeah.
Confession.
Basically, we didn't want to invite you, so we thought, let's go. No, we didn't want a wedding. We just wanted to get married, and we didn't want all that hoo-ha with, flowers and invitations and just basically organising stuff. It's really challenging, isn't it? Tiring. We just wanted to get married, and we wanted to get married somewhere different. So we actually looked at getting married in Lithuania, because we have our friend Paul lives in Lithuania. But you can't get married in Lithuania unless you are resident there or have a Lithuanian passport.
So how long you'd have to be resident?
5 years. Yeah.
And that's European wide.
Most countries in Europe, you have to either be national or have residency there for a period of time. But Denmark is the exception. So Denmark is like the Vegas of Europe. And so we just rocked up on a Monday lunchtime and in a little Airbnb with 5 friends.
Out of the blue?
Just like that. No, we did actually. We actually paid an organisation to help us do all the paperwork, and we just filled in a few forms and stuff like that. And they did everything, and then we just turned up.
Great.
At Copenhagen City Hall on a Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
In jeans and trainers.
As you do.
As we did. And then we were in and out within 10 minutes.
No way.
It
That's
was
amazing. Like
amazing.
a washerama or something.
Yeah, just bish bash bosh, married, off you go.
Done.
And then we went to the anarchist bar and got thrown out.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was that like almost like in Modular just now, where you lay down on the floor?
No, they were far less polite.
Okay.
Actually, well, so there's a park in Copenhagen which is like a theme park, which I'm not into theme parks, but it was Danish, so it looked quite interesting and fun. But you have to pay something like 15 euros to get into this theme park. But there is a bar around the back, and if you go into the bar and through the back door, then you're in the theme park.
No way.
So,
and what kind of theme park is it then?
I don't even know, because we didn't get that far in. No, it's all different. It's like, roller coaster rides and stuff like that, and ghost trains and. But so then we all 7 of us, Des and I and our 5 friends, traipsed through the back door, and the staff,
you got married,
the staff from the bar came
married.
running after us, saying you can't, and we and so we all filed back, single file through the bar.
Split up and head for the ghost train and all sorts of other stuff.
We weren't going to abandon anyone.
No, true.
From the team, you stick together, don't you?
Yep. A night in the cells just after the higher rated.
Yeah. But we did think it was not very anarchist of them to not let us sneak.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not very
we
DIY,
thought about picking up chairs and chucking them at people, but didn't.
From the big wheel.
Yeah. So, a marriage in Copenhagen, not a wedding. And it was great. It was great fun.
So you're coping with it?
Coping.
Sorry. Julian coping it.
Coping with a Copenhagen. Don't go to Copenhagen. Copenhagen is very expensive.
Yep.
It turns out. We didn't know this. So we spent a lot of time going, how much?
But if you only spend 10 minutes getting married, then that's okay, isn't it?
But that's a lot more drinking time, see.
True. Oh, okay.
During which you're going, how much? Progressively through the night, you're going, don't worry about it.
And there's a poem. There was a poem.
There was a poem.
There was a poem that you mentioned, a marriage poem, because this was part of the ceremony?
Yeah. We didn't want to do all that like pukey, I love you so much stuff.
Yeah.
Even though we do. So we just read a poem that we'd encountered some years before in a poetry book on page 9.
Okay.
You're going to tell me to read it, aren't you?
Well, you seem to know it off by heart.
Yeah, we both do.
Then we
but
can
Des isn't here.
No.
So I'd have to do his voice as well as my own voice.
Go on then, that would be good.
Okay.
We can edit him in. Actually,
how do we?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. How do you do Des's voice? I should know this.
Yeah.
I do. Hello. I might. No, it doesn't do.
What?
I'm from Portsmouth. I don't know. I can't do it. I can hear it in my head, but I can't do it. Okay, so the poem is called Bridal Vows, and it's by somebody called Ian Duhigg. And it goes like this. I will be faithful to you, I do vow, but not until the seas will run dry, etc. Although I mean it now, I'm not a prophet, and I will not lie. To be your perfect wife, I could not swear. Des said that line in the thing. That was quite funny.
Nice.
To be your perfect wife, I could not swear. I'll love, yes. Honour, maybe. Won't obey. But will cooperate, if you will care as much as you are seeming to today. I'll do my best to be your better half, but I don't have the patience of a saint. And at you, not with you, I'll sometimes laugh and snap too, though I'll try to show restraint. We might work out, no blame if we do not. With all my heart, I think it's worth a shot. Gross, pukey, lovely.
That's lovely though.
It's so lovely.
I can hear all our listeners as well, like making
Puking.
notes and thinking.
Dear.
God! Oh, so much has happened in the UK. Moving on.
Moving on.
I mean, the Queen died. Where were you when the Queen died?
It wasn't me.
Talking about Elvis.
It definitely wasn't me.
Stories.
Where were we?
It was a few weeks ago. So. Because you've been driving around.
So we did another big road trip around Europe, further east this time. So Poland, Lithuania, and then Slovakia and Hungary and Croatia. I don't know.
How did you find out about it then? Did you hear someone say?
I mean, we read the news.
Just suddenly saw.
We read the news, and then quite often. Well, Des is very good at reading news. He reads it a lot and stays really up to date with stuff. I read the news now and then.
What kind of news though? Is it like the Guardian?
I read the Guardian. I read BBC. I read Reuters, and sometimes Al Jazeera. So I look at different things and see what they're saying about the same thing. But what I do, I read the news, and then I tend to read something and go, oh God, I don't want to hear any more about this, and then not read the news for ages.
Yeah, right.
Whereas Des is more kind of has more of a what do you call that? A kind of morbid fascination, I suppose, with what's going on. But yeah, it's kind of we were on the road. We were travelling around Europe, and we found ourselves saying, yeah, sorry, we're British. Sorry,
Lord knows
no, just oh God, it's just.
And the King, King Charles.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in the UK at the time, and it was a bizarre time because it was for a week. It was on TV 24 hours a day, and of course there was this massive queue of people to
insane
go and see, and they were queuing up for literally 15 hours. Some of the people with their children or ex-service people, well, all kinds of people, and it was bizarre. And you'd see the Queen everywhere, in libraries and supermarkets and
it was ridiculous
stuff like this.
And then they made a man Queen, which is
then they made a man Queen and
woke.
Yeah. But luckily the ships and everything say HMS, don't they? So they can move it from Her Majesty's.
And the banknotes, they've already got loads of Charlie on them, haven't they? So they don't
his ears are on the back. Sorry, that's an old joke. Anyway, very poorly done. And it was also bizarre because it was for the first time the signing ceremony was. You saw it on TV, so all the ex-prime ministers were there. And loads of other people, and you saw where all this money is going and stuff. But actually, it was pretty boring to see all this stuff. But the bizarreness of the royalty and how the country is run,
it's just insane.
Parliament and royalty.
But Liz Truss killed her, right?
Killed herself? No,
she killed the Queen.
So for those who don't know about, so Liz Truss was she was the Prime Minister after Boris, and she was in. For 45 days, I think. You can look it up
during
quickly.
Which time she managed to kill the Queen.
45 days plus or minus, So she actually shook hands with the Queen, and in some Arthur Conan Doyle sort of subplot, she had her hands covered with poisonous ink or something like that, and the Queen
damn spot.
Or invisible ink covered in. Lemon juice or something, and the Queen died shortly after.
Coincidence? I don't think so.
And then she resigned in mysterious circumstances, apart from like crashing the country. Thing. So that was bizarre. And now we've got the first non-Christian leader who's actually is a Hindu. Oh God! So Rishi Sunak, whose multi-millionaire wife. Anyway, whatever. So we're talking about Guardian readers. So
Tories.
So here we are. That was the brief news.
Here we are.
Meanwhile, the Russians getting closer, edging into Europe, and
we're sitting outside a sushi. We're not outside that, but opposite on the other side of the road is a sushi bar called Kiss Ho.
And it's a sign.
Yeah.
For Jade's future and present condition.
Yeah, but it's a condition being married, isn't it?
So.
It's a condition,
Tell me all about it. Tell us all about it.
Yeah.
Plans for the future, because I mean you're a stationery expert and a philanderer. I was going to say, no, a philanthropist of the English language. No, does that mean a stamp collector? Of some sort.
I'm a stamp collector. Of.
And you're a teacher.
Things.
You're a teacher of the English language on a very deep cleaning level.
Deep clean your English.
And stuff like that.
Plans for the future are, I mean, being a great stationery person, rather absurdly, Des and I are going to move to Scotland, see how that suits us. But there's a severe shortage of high quality stationery shops in Scotland. You're talking Ryman's and Paperchase, which just like, Ryman's isn't even a stationery shop. It's an office supply shop. And Paperchase is just pathetic.
And we were in Modular just now.
Yeah, we were.
Platz, Maybe this could be sponsored by Modular, the show, because
I think that's a very good idea.
5 or 6 times.
Modular.
Yeah. And you mentioned some talking about Rymans and all that. Go on, name something. Go on, name it. Like the Sex Pistols on TV. Go on, say that. Say those words.
Rymans?
No, not just that.
Modular.
You know, there were other stationery names.
Oh, we were talking about notebook brands because Adrian, bless him,
has no idea.
had never encountered the brand name Rhodia before, and of course Rhodia make those traditional classic orange flip top notepads. Very nice, but they've brought out a new one. It would appear a black version with dotted pages, which is all right. I mean, it's still Rhodia. It's good for sort of note taking if you like that kind of format. I'm not really a flip top notebook kind of girl. I'm more of a kind of left hand binding, lay flat,
just like your men.
Yeah. Definitely left-hand bound men. Yeah.
Phew! I wondered how that joke was going to go down.
Yeah.
I thought I might get punched.
I had a
live
friend.
On air.
I have a friend who's been a friend in Brighton who's been dating on a dating app, and she went on a date with somebody and learnt during that date that he was a Tory, and she said, I can't continue this date with you.
No. Unless you
enjoy the rest of your conservative evening, and left, which I just think is absolutely brilliant.
Amazing.
Yeah. Would you date a Tory?
Oh, a conservative, a Whig, all those names. I mean, it's if someone defines themselves as a right-wing cunt, then how.
Are you allowed to say cunt on the radio?
On our radio, you can say anything.
And modular.
Although the podcast now won't be admitted to Apple anymore because that's the end of that.
What a shame.
Probably Amazon and all the other things, all the other multi-billionaire sort of companies. But somewhere, some very small podcast sort of thing, someone will hear it.
Yep.
And think
and learn a new word. Deep clean your English with
you can
cunt
say it. You can
on
say
Radio
it.
1.
I've heard it on the BBC as well. I've heard cunt on the BBC and stuff like that.
Jeremy.
Recently. Yeah, everyone's saying it. It's the new word. As soon as you enter the country.
Cunt is the new pussy.
As soon as you're at, I was going to say publishing house at the BBC, the British publishing house. You know what? As soon as I got back to the UK recently, I went back. Now I have my Maltese passport, of course, and my UK passport. I had it with me, but it was out of date. But so
you have dual citizenship now?
Yep. So I have dual nationality. I'm European, and I presented my Maltese passport, and the person behind the counter control looked at it, asked me how long I was going to be in the country and everything, and then I said, oh no, but I have my British passport with me, but it's out of date. She said, oh yeah, always bring it with you. I'll do it in a West accent. You should always bring it in a Wurzel's accent. Always bring your passport with you just in case, because you never know what might happen. Someone may not have ever have heard of Malta, like one of the EasyJet staff, when I was going through from Berlin, they looked at it like it was a toy passport, and I had to say, it is in the European Union, it's a small island and stuff, and he had to hand it to his mate, to his colleague, who then sort of slapped him over the head with it a few times and said, you failed at geography, you fool.
It is a real place.
And stuff like that. So so I got through, and then everything was fine for me, but the police were there and they were looking at people's passports and all this kind of shit in Bristol Airport, and that was my welcome to the UK. But when I came back to Germany on this side in BER, talking about BER, they were literally doing that Hawaiian thing. The only thing that was missing were those garlands that they were putting around people, and they had all this free food for people, like little snacks and things like that of Berlin.
We didn't
like
get
all
that.
These potato chips and sausages and stuff like that, and drinks and whatever you wanted in just past passport control, while everyone else that didn't manage to get through passport control was like dragged away by dogs and stuff like that. But in any case, it was a complete contrast to the UK system. Yeah.
Des got questioned at security at passport control when we arrived in Berlin yesterday. This chap asked him why he was in Berlin. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? And Des explained that we're going to a gig tonight. We're going to see Von Vega and Lisbeth at Columbia Hall. And so Des said, we're going to see a band. We're going to a concert. We're going to see Von Vega and Lisbeth. Have you heard of them? They're great. And this guy said, no, never heard of them. And there was a younger female colleague next to him who was laughing quite a lot. She obviously had heard of them. And he said, so what's the venue? And Des couldn't actually remember the name of the venue. And he said, I don't know. And the guy was like, well, you need to know the venue. And he said, well, I don't know. My wife booked the tickets. I can't remember the name of it.
And we've just got married.
Yeah. They let him through in the end.
Jesus. Oh, so those were the questions that he had to answer for getting into
what
Europe.
Are you doing here?
Because now you're allowed to stay, if you're from the UK or outside Europe, for how many months? Like 90 days or something, and then you have
It's really complicated, yeah. It's 90 days out of a 180-day period, but that 180-day period moves through time with you. So if, for example, you were in the UK now and you wanted to come to what I call the mainland, then you would have to count back how many days out of the previous 180, counting backwards from today, you had already been in Europe, to tell you how many days you had remaining.
No way.
So it's 90 out of 180
Is there an app
days.
that you can calculate all
There
that
are
stuff
there are
with?
online calculators which make it much easier.
Yeah.
You just put in when you went and how long for, and they say what you've got left. But yeah, it's just nonsense. And of course, when you come into and leave the EU or the Schengen zone, actually, you need to get your passport stamped, because otherwise, I mean, presumably that information is all digital as well.
But you have loads of stamps in your passports now.
Yeah, loads of stamps.
That was the only positive thing about it, because it's kind of nice to have these little stamps of where you've been, isn't it?
Yeah, what's interesting, because we crossed quite a few borders when we were doing our last road trip. What's interesting is that most border control places, they will put their stamp below the previous one in your passport, so they're in a very nice, clear, chronological order, and then every now and then you get a country whose border control just open your passport randomly in the middle, stamp it wherever you like, and that plays havoc with my brain. I want to draw a little arrow going, please refer to page for next stamp. Anyway, you're not allowed to do that.
Stamp it here, please.
But yeah.
So which countries have you been to then?
So we went to when we left for our road trip, we realised that we'd been in 4 countries in one day, because we left the UK, drove through France, Belgium into Holland, and stayed in Holland that first night. So that was 4 countries. And then we went back through Belgium, Germany, Poland, up to Lithuania. And by the time we got to Germany, to the sort of western side of Germany, we hit the epicenter of that heat wave that we had this summer. We were right in the middle of it. When you look at the map on your iPhone, Apple weather map, it shows you the degrees of red and orange and yellow, and we were right in the middle of the red bit. And as we travelled east, the red bit came with us. So we basically stayed in the epicenter of the heat wave as we travelled through Poland, and then we nipped up to Lithuania for a week or two, and it dropped a couple of degrees, and then we came back down to Poland, back to the epicenter of this heat wave. And then we travelled south through Slovakia and Hungary, and down into Croatia, still in the middle of this heat wave. Right. By which point it was about 42 degrees.
Inside a metal van.
Des is from Ireland and I'm from Wales. We're not built for that at all. We were just melting, spending most of our time trying to find air conditioning in cafes. So we were in Croatia for a couple of weeks. Which is really beautiful. We didn't go along the coast where you've got all the sort of surfer dude tourist scenes. We stayed in the sort of middle bit, national parks and stuff like that. It was really gorgeous. And then we travelled back west through Slovenia, and then Austria and Germany, France, back to the UK.
And was Des, because Des is a musician, was he playing music all the way around, or does he wake you up in the morning with...
He wakes me up in the morning with a trumpet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If I need to get up for work, he'll stop. No, he wasn't doing that at all. No, we were moving quite a lot, not really staying in one place long enough to set up any real gigs or anything like that. But our plan with Scotland is to be a little bit more static. It's to find, we're going to have a look around live in the van, find somewhere that we might like to rent, and then just try it for 6 months and see how it suits us. But that will hopefully create more musical collaboration opportunities.
So
my husband,
you're young, free, and married then.
young, expensive. No, some of those things.
Yeah, you're travelling around.
I'm married.
You're
travelling around.
That's
living the
amazing.
life.
That was my dream from when I was a kid, because there used to be a program called the Didikoi on TV. I mean, you're much younger than me, but it was about this. I can't say gypsy girl anymore. I don't know. Nomadic,
perhaps.
Girl in England, and she was travelling around with her family, and I think the people in different schools that she was in didn't like her and stuff like this. But it really.
But you did do that for a time.
I was a sensitive child.
That's how you landed in Berlin, was it not?
That's
you were
right.
living in a van and
Yeah, I always thought I would read tarot around Europe, and that's how I would survive. And if my van conked out, it would be pulled by horses or a load of mice or something like that.
Instead, it was just in a park on the outskirts of Berlin.
It broke down. Yeah, it broke down in Frankfurt.
And you're still waiting to get it fixed?
No,
20 years later?
No, I wish it had gone to a Wagenplatz where people live in their vans and things. But actually, some people broke in. It was a massive van, so the thing with it was, I'll be really quick with this story, is that I just move it at night because of the Umwelt zone. You know, it wasn't.
Okay, it was really old diesel.
Yeah. So it wasn't very good for the environment. In Berlin, it has this kind of ring around it. So, but I would move it around when I moved house, and I had all my stuff in it. But I wanted to give it away, and I advertised it for anyone for free to take. But
and no one wanted it.
No. What happened was some people got into it, had a party in the front of it, and then cut all the wires. So it literally was never going to go again, which is really stupid of them, of course, you know. But and the day that someone came with their bicycle, the Ordnungsamt, which are like failed police officers, traffic wardens, were towing it away. So I never saw it again.
What colour was it?
Irish plates. It was white, but it was of course covered in graffiti all over, because I had it in Paris first, and I used to live by the Seine, and then moved to Berlin. And there is a crazy story in it, but I'll tell it another time. But yeah, living in vans, it's beautiful, going from country to country.
It is. It's not without its challenges, but it's grounding.
Yeah.
And you stop taking things for granted. Things like laundry, you come to really appreciate.
Yeah. You know how much water you use and where to go to the toilet and all sorts of stuff. And
you learn the value of a spade when you're in the woods.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. It's very. But what's interesting, what I found when we were on the road, because sometimes we'd park in the woods or by a lake, or sometimes we'd park at a truck stop with a 24-hour petrol station with toilets and showers and whatever. But when it gets dark and you're in the van, it almost doesn't matter what's outside, because that space, that tiny little space, is your home and your comfort. And sometimes I'd fall asleep, we'd get in the van and we'd, untap and make a cup of tea and whatever, and I'd doze off, wake up maybe an hour later going, actually, where are we? Geographically, where in the world are we? And what's directly outside the van?
And then Alexa would pipe up and say...
Alexa and Siri in collaboration.
Together, in harmony,
No, Des is my Alexa.
That's great.
Is it
great? I don't know whether that's great. I don't know.
Yeah.
And in the future, maybe no one's ever heard of these kind of robot.
Let's hope not,
sort of
for their sakes.
Well, they're gathering all this information, aren't they, for their artificial intelligence to take over the world. Yeah. I guess, and then drink coffees outside bars and things like that, and then talk about their adventures.
Yep.
And stuff.
With Kiss Ho sushi restaurants.
So Jade, thank you very much for joining us today.
It's lovely to be here. And it's lovely to see you.
And Des as well. We must give our love to Des.
To Des.
Can you give Des a kiss?
Love you, Hubbers. Mwah.
You're listening to Radio On Berlin, and listen to our podcasts as well. Check them out. You can go from radio-on-berlin.com, or probably on all those major podcast sites and things. But yes, and friend us, follow us, like us, whatever, keep us
Buy
going.
the merchandise,
and we'll send you more information as we go. Good day to you all. Schönes Wochenende.
listening to Radio 1 Berlin.